Hello everyone, and welcome to my Mythic dungeon guide for Windrunner Spire in Midnight Season 1. All routes are in the description. Starting with the first pack, the stewards will cast Spirit Bolt. Try to keep this interrupted. They'll also apply Salt Torment, which puts a dot on 2 players and this can be dispelled. Tanks, the groundskeepers apply Shear Armor, which stacks, so keep an eye on your stacks and kite if needed. The Magus will drop a bubble at 50% HP that reduces damage taken by 99%, so tanks just move everything out of that bubble. They'll also cast Arcane Salvo, which is just steady group damage, so healers be aware of that. Heading down the left side, you run into some spiders. When they die, they'll leave acid puddles, so just move out of those. Next are the Apex Links. A leap between players with Ferocious Pounce, so try to stay loosely spread so you're not overlapping damage. Tanks should also watch the Puncturing Bite, since it applies a pretty heavy bleed. After that, you run into the Dragon Hordes. They channel Fire Spit onto a random player and they can also give themselves a haste buff, so purge it if you can. First boss is Ember Dawn. She'll cast Flaming Updraft, which puts circles on players that explode after a few seconds, leaving puddles on the ground that spawn tornadoes. Just drop these near the edge of the room. At 100 energy, the boss starts Burning Gale, which deals constant damage and pushes you back. At the same time, she'll use Fire Breath, which sweeps across sections of the arena, so stay close to the boss and move as the frontals rotate around the room. The Tank Buster is Searing Beak, which deals physical damage and fire damage over time. After that, it's just rinse and repeat until the boss dies. On the right side, you'll run into similar undead packs. The most important mob here is the Woebringer, which casts Pulsing Shriek. This ability has a shield that needs to be broken before it can be interrupted, so make sure this shield and interrupt is your priority. Thanks, while that's happening, the Windrunner soldiers will apply a stacking healing debuff, so be ready to kite. The Cutthroats will cast Poison Blades, which should be interrupted wherever possible. They'll also throw vials that leave puddles on the ground. You'll also run into an Abomination. Tanks should be ready for the Brutal Chop, this is just a heavy hit, and the mob will also cast Fetid Spew, leaving puddles that you want to move out of. The duo do not have a shared health rule, one enrages when the other dies. Splattering Spew puts circles on every player that leaves puddles behind. Spread slightly and drop these around the edge of the room. Next is Bone Hack, a heavy tank channel from Latch. Tanks, make sure you have a defensive ready for this. Callus will also cast Curse of Darkness, spawning an ad that fixates a player. If it's dispelled, then the ad disappears. The main mechanic is Debilitating Shriek. This can't be interrupted normally. Instead, Latch will throw out a hook with Heavy Yang, and you need to position it so the hook pulls Callus and interrupts the Shriek. After that, the fight simply repeats until the boss dies. Moving towards the third boss, the Phalanx Brankers will charge towards players with break ranks. Just be careful they don't pull extra packs. They'll also cast Interrupting Screech, which simply requires players to stop casting. The Archers will cast Arrow Rain, which you can stop with crowd control. The most dangerous mob in the room after this is the Phantasmal Mystic. They cast Chain Lightning, which should be interrupted, and Flame Nova, which deals a decent amount of group damage. At 50% health, they also buff nearby enemies with Bloodlust, so be careful with large pulls. Okay, time for the third boss, Commander Kroluk. We'll start with Rampage, which is a tank channel, so tanks, make sure you have a defensive ready for that. After that, he'll use Heroic Leap, targeting the furthest player. This leap can be baited. Right after the leap, he'll cast Intimidating Shout, which fears anyone not standing near another player, so make sure you stack up with someone to avoid the fear. At set health points, he'll cast Rallying Bellow, dealing group damage, shielding himself and summoning ads. Once the ads are out, the boss will start blade storming around the room. Kill the ads quickly to remove his damage reduction and then get back onto the boss. After that, the fight just repeats until he dies. Onto the final boss. The fight starts with Arrow Rain, which places turbulent arrows on the ground. These arrows are important because the core mechanic of this fight is Squall Leap, a stacking dot that's applied when the boss leaps around. The only way to remove this dot is by stepping on an arrow which launches you into the air and clears the debuff. It's also how you dodge Bullseye Windblast, which is this wave that you're seeing. You can just blink over it though. Tanks, watch out for Tempest Slash. This is a heavy hit that'll knock you back and increase your damage taken by 40%. Gust Shot will place a swirly on you and deal ticking damage. Take this over the puddle on the ground because when it expires, it removes the puddles. Bulk Gale is just a barrage of arrows, don't point it at your team. And that is Windrunner Spire. If you found this guide helpful, then subscribe to me. Stay wild, stay free, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.